I'm reluctant to talk about this story for a lot of reasons. I'm talking, of course, about what happened to the right-wing pundit political organizer Charlie Kirk earlier this week. There's been a lot of hot air, a lot of demagoguery, and this show, this channel, this podcast is not primarily a political podcast. I'm a sensible centrist, and I have in fact voted for people of different political parties in the United States. So I'm trying to be, everyone has biases and opinions. I'm no different. But what I'm trying to do on this program is bring to you an objective sense of what's going on in the world and then filter it through the lens of communication skills and personal development skills so we can all get better. So with that throat clearing, let's dive right in. Trump and the Charlie Kirk assassination. The killing of right-wing activist Charlie Kirk remains unsolved. We don't know who did it or why at this moment. But what we do know is that President Trump immediately seized on the tragedy to inflame partisan divisions rather than calm them. In a speech, Trump declared, "We have radical left lunatics out there, and we just have to beat the hell out of them." He went further, saying, "Those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism we're seeing." According to The Atlantic, Trump promised his administration would find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity, effectively treating his political opponents as accessories to murder without evidence. Paul Krugman notes no prominent Democrat has celebrated Kirk's death or called for violence. Meanwhile, studies confirm most political murders in the United States. Let me restate that, and I'll go over the facts in a moment. Most political murders in the United States in recent decades have been carried out by right-wing extremists. So what's the real message here? There was a tragedy, an assassination. It was a moment for a president to speak to the better angels of all of us. Instead, this guy went the low road once again. He should have done what the Republican governor of Utah did, which is say, let's all calm down a moment and speak with love for our fellow Americans. But that's not what he did. He instantly said this was a left-wing extremist, when at the moment, there is zero proof of that. What there is proof of is the vast, vast majority of all political assassinations in the United States for decades has been done by right-wing political extremists. Let's dig a little bit deeper here. So Trump, typical Trump, he said we have to beat the hell out of them. He claimed it was the radical left. We don't know yet who did the killing. There were some markings on the bullets talking about being pro-trans, and that may be just an attempt by the murderer, the assassin, to make someone else look bad. I can tell you right, and I don't know who the killer is. I can tell you the pictures of the number one suspect that the FBI is putting up doesn't look like any radical leftist I know. It's a young white man with a t-shirt that had some sort of a flag emblem on it. We'll find out more. I don't want to rush to judgment there, but we just don't know who the murderer was. According to the ADL, 75% of political murders in the United States happened by right-wing actors. Doesn't mean they were, head of the Republican Party for a major state, but they identify as right-wing actors. Let's go back in history. I well remember, in fact, I was broadcasting the day it happened live in 1995, the Oklahoma City bombers. Far-right militia extremists did that. 2011, Gabrielle Giffords, the congresswoman, was shot, nearly murdered. Far-right militia extremists. 2015, the Charleston massacre, a white supremacist. Again, I'm going to be fair here. In 2017, Republican Congressman Steve Scalise, he was shot. He was not killed, thankfully. That was a left-wing extremist. So it's not all one side. But to immediately say, here was a killing, I'm going to automatically, not just assume, but say it's my political enemy, is the definition of demagoguery and the definition of not being a leader or a good leader. Let's look more. 2018 Pittsburgh synagogue shooting, far-right white nationalist. 2020 attempted kidnapping of Governor Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan, a militia plot from right-wing extremists. 2022, an attack on Speaker Pelosi's husband, Paul Pelosi, a right-wing conspiracy believer. And 2024, the CDC headquarters shooting, an anti-vax extremist. And we didn't even talk about the killings in Minnesota. So look, we live in a violent nation. There's no doubt about it. There are extremists on both sides, but let's forget all the games of the false equivalency. It's not that the country is overrun with left-wing murderous extremists and zealots, as was intimated by the President of the United States. It is primarily the problem of political assassination in America in recent decades is primarily driven by right-wing extremists. So if you want to go after anyone, how about going after right-wing extremists? And if the left is so evil, as we're told again and again by this current administration, then why is it the left wants to, in your words, ban all guns? Because they wouldn't be able to kill anyone if you just did what they asked you to do. So I know you don't want to go there, and I don't want to turn this into a whole tedious, boring gun control debate, because that debate has essentially been lost in America. But you can't have it both ways. You can't say the left is running around shooting everyone and the left is so awful because they want to take away their guns. It just doesn't really add up.